victory there for Scotland's John Higgins, winning his first ever Irish Masters title. Not only did he raise the Benson Hedges Trophy, as you saw there, for the first time, he achieved the first ever maximum break of 147, as George was saying, when he beat Jimmy White in Friday night's quarter-final. So let's remind ourselves of just how he did that as he talks us through his shots with George Hamilton.
It's a very easy red to start with. It's one of the reds you'd always like to have first frame any match, but
perfectly positioned.
Yeah, I'm the blacks over the pocket, so I couldn't really miss that. And all I was trying to do really was try and get a frame winning break. The balls were lying nicely, and at this stage I wasn't really thinking about the 147. I was just thinking about maybe getting 40, 48 points, get a little break going to get my arm going. But as I was on about 40, I suddenly realised that the reds were all sitting invitingly. And
but I'm just thinking that you've just gone red, black, red. Right. And as I've said, I think the 5th and 6th shots that you actually played in this frame, you haven't actually, you said get your arm going, but you haven't actually been cueing very much at all at this point. Yeah, that's right. Obviously, it doesn't matter how much practice you put in. It's totally different from a match situation. So I've not really been having a great time of it so far, but I was just, as I said, I was just trying to get a few points on the board and try to get a feel of the table, because I knew Jimmy had already played a match on the table, and if I let him in, he wouldn't be slow getting used to the table again, I was sure. So I was trying to get a little break here and put him under pressure a little bit. Because the other thing is, Jimmy's such a popular figure here.
You're
and
telling me.
Wonderful reception when he came out, and then you were introduced and you came out.
Oh, yeah.
And to put this in perspective, all this is happening within moments of that.
That's right. I mean, the crowd hadn't really settled down yet, I'm sure. A lot of the crowd were still finding their seat numbers and seeing where they were sitting. So yeah, you could hear them all rustling about getting to their seats. So it was strange, really. But
when you get to this point now, and you're seeing that you're getting it all right, your rhythm is clearly there, and you're sitting up nicely on the black every time after the reds go down. Does it then begin to enter your head that maybe something's on here?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, once I put this black and then red and the black again, I go on for the red and the bottom cushion, and then I knew I had a great angle to go into the pack, that they were tightly bunched. So I knew if I could get into the pack and land out in one there, and I knew it would be 32. One for a good break.
Tell the real amateur snooker players among us, how many shots are you ahead at this point 33. In your mind?
I don't think you need to be too far in front. I think maybe 2 or 3 shots in front. I don't think if people say there's 7 and 8 shots in front, now that's a lie, because you can't tell what's going to happen in 7 shots time. But you can see in your mind about 2 or 3 shots in front what you're trying to do. And I think it was after I pot this red, I had a perfect angle in the black to split into the 4 reds directly under the pink. So
it's a tough one.
Well, no. 40? No, not really.
That's the word number 1 talking, because we've seen a few today and other days missed them from that kind of...
Oh yeah, I mean, I've missed them before, I'm sure, but no, you shouldn't really miss that shot.
I'm glad to hear you speak with such confidence. Now where are we in this break, and where are you in your mind at this time?
Yeah, I'm looking at a plant there. I said if I could maybe just roll the black and I could play the plant, but I said no, just try and get into the pack here and hope to get a decent enough split. But I don't think I really got a good one, if I can remember correctly. And I've got to take a very difficult red into the middle bag, so I could easily have broke down here. This is a very tricky shot in the middle, but as soon as I striked it, I knew it was in, and 48. My mind was back in the 147 again.
So you're acknowledging that at this point you're thinking this is difficult?
Yeah, absolutely, because there was a lot of pressure on as well, because if I miss this red, I'm leaving the frame at Jimmy's mercy, so I was delighted.
Of course, you're at the point where it can go either way.
You're in between now, although you've got your sights set on 147. If I miss any shot here, now Jimmy would go favourite to win the frame, so
because if it's all there for you, it's all there for him equally if you let him on the table.
Exactly. So I didn't really play that black nice. I didn't get enough screw into the white ball, but I managed to recover position 56. Again. I put quite a good red into the middle bag here, so I'm back on the break again.
Now, you've spoken about the nerves jangling towards the end. Were they you jangled a bit in the middle, as you've acknowledged at this point. Are you then back down off that precipice, as it were, thinking, OK, I'm now back in my rhythm and they're all sitting nicely?
Yeah, I don't think you always see many 147s, everything plain sailing. There's always got to be about 2 or 3 shots that the player is to play really well, and I managed to put a good long red into the top bag here because this is the red, I think, to win the frame, so there's a little bit of pressure on it just to win the frame really, but as soon as I pot this red, now I'm definitely going for the 147 from here on in.
And you're perfectly positioned for this next black. You've got those few remaining reds, and they're all clustered nicely for you.
Yeah.
And I suppose you're thinking in your mind at this point, all I have to do is maintain my rhythm, maintain...
Exactly. Although the nerves are going, you shouldn't really miss a straightforward shot, which all the balls really are there. They're all set straight forward, so you've just got to, 72. I suppose, rely on a little bit of technique and rely on the hours of practice you've been doing in the club, and you should win me a good chance of doing it. But every shot's difficult under that pressure out there, especially in front of the packed crowd.
And you can't be unaware that their expectation is mounting all the time.
Exactly. There's some people shouting out, "Come on," and there's other people telling them to shut up, and it's quite funny, really. But no, they were great. It was a great atmosphere to actually do it in there.
Talking about other sports, and they say that a batsman in cricket who's been in for a long time sees the ball 80. Like a football because he's so into his rhythm. Does it get a bit like that with you when you're at this point in a break? Are you full of confidence now?
Yeah, I was full of confidence here. I roll the black in off 2 cushions here, and I laid myself a nice